pray. O divine source of all good gifts, the good news of graduation has come today, and we are overjoyed with this bright message. The pockets of our hearts are full to overflowing with gratitude to you, who are the source of all good things. We are grateful for all you have given, for all who have given their support with heartfelt encouragement, friendship, faithfulness, and love. May we who share in the joy of this day and these happy moments never forget the great wonder of your love. This we pray in the name of the one who lives among us as love, friend, and Savior. Amen.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 74th Annual Spring Commencement at the College of St. Benedict. It is my very distinct pleasure this afternoon to introduce our commencement speaker, Ms. Diane Lam, native of Peru, alumna of the College of St. Benedict, fellow educator, and most of all, a citizen with a strong sense of social conscience. Almost a year ago, Diana became a part of a momentous decision in the history of education in the United States, when the people of Chelsea, Massachusetts, contracted with Boston University to take over the management of the Chelsea school system. Diana's role in this momentous event was her appointment as superintendent of schools. To better appreciate the significance of this appointment, I'd like to briefly describe the environment of Chelsea by paraphrasing from an article that appeared in the magazine Bostonia. You're in Chelsea, sitting down in front of a lot of unfriendly statistics. You have more school dropouts, your student test scores are rock bottom, as many of your students get held back as graduate. Absenteeism is sky high, so is teenage pregnancy. Only 12 high school seniors bother to take their SATs. Your city per capita income is only $8,259, and your teachers are underpaid. Clearly, the task ahead was to revamp the entire school system and assist in restoring to Chelsea a sense of human dignity. The enormity of the task did not appear to be as overwhelming to Diana as it might to others. She has a reputation for bold innovations and boundless energy. She's a risk taker with a great deal of determination. Colleagues describe her as a catalyst for change, a magnet for ideas, an outspoken educator who does not feel constrained by the way things are. She is a fighter who is savvy and good at motivating people and bringing reform. This reputation began in elementary school in Peru, where while in the 3rd grade, she decided that she wanted an education in the United States. With the advice of a Maryknoll sister, her mentor, she set out to do what was necessary to achieve her goal. She earned a bachelor's degree in sociology from the College of St. Benedict, a Bachelor of Science degree in social science with teacher certification from St. Cloud State, a Master's of Education degree from Boston College, and she is now a candidate for the doctoral in education at Boston University. She has taught children of different cultural backgrounds in grades K through 12. She's been coordinator of bilingual multicultural resources and project director for Title VII, principal of elementary school and middle school, and now superintendent. Diana, you will agree, has an impressive list of accomplishments. She's a competitor and a fighter. But the competition has been with herself, and the fighting has been for others. She has a strong social conscience. Graduates, Diana Lam today is saying no to the injustice of the status quo in the Chelsea system. May you remember and learn from her, and may you also recall the 3 symbols which guide her. The first, the starfish, representing the ability to regenerate and to adjust to changes. The conch shell, representing the ability to listen. And the kaleidoscope, representing the ability to absorb that which is around you and make something beautiful of all of it. Diana, la felicitamos por su trabajo. Usted nos hace orgullosos. Ojalá que cumplamos nuestra misión tal como usted cumple la suya, y que le demos el placer que nos ha dado. Bienvenida a su casa. Diana, We congratulate you on your accomplishments. You do us proud. May we fulfill our mission as you are fulfilling yours. And may we give you the pride you have given us. Welcome home.
Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. 25 years ago, a rather nervous 17-year-old girl from Peru arrived in the United States for the first time in her life. She was greeted at the Miami airport by a professor from St. Benedict's. She recognized the woman because she had visited her and her family a few months before. The professor, originally from Cuba, had assured her parents that St. Benedict's was a wonderful opportunity, and yes, it was safe. I came to St. Benedict's that school girl and graduated 4 years later, a young woman certain of her promises and certain of her answers. 21 years later, I'm still certain of my promises, but less certain that any one person has all the answers. Robert Frost noted the distinction between a retreat and an escape. The purpose of a retreat, he observed, is to return to one's life strengthened, to return to the commitments and responsibilities of one's life renewed. St. Benedict's was that kind of retreat for me. Those years here gave me time to read, to write, to think, to protest the war, to make new friends, to play on athletic teams, to fall in love, and to make promises to myself about the kind of person I would be. When ducklings hatch, they become attached to the first object they spot, thinking it's their mother. Arriving at St. Ben's, I was like a duckling hatching, leaving one continent for another. The place which caught my eyes and my imagination immediately was the woods surrounding the campus. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Like the person on Frost's poem, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, I loved to watch the woods fill up with snow. For me, time and place intersected. Those college years when I was growing in ways I had not thought possible, and those Minnesota woods, so unlike anything I had ever seen in Lima, Peru, where I had grown up. I have special memories of many places at St. Benedict's, but it is the woods I treasure most. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep. I took those woods with me when I left and began my many adventures. When I have needed a mind's rest from my hectic days, I can close my eyes and revisit those woods again. I know the path to the cemetery. I know my favorite pine, my favorite maple. I can hear the comforting crunch of autumn leaves underfoot, smell the pine needles. In the woods, I can converse with trees while birds eavesdrop and the breeze carries memories. Memories for me which begin in Peru. Though my family was of modest means, I was fortunate in my preschool and elementary school to have teachers who told me I could grow up and become anything I wanted to be. I believed them. And when I was in the 3rd grade, as Chuck mentioned in his introduction, I told my teacher that I wanted to go to college in the United States. Another teacher might have looked at an 8-year-old child and thought to herself, what are the chances of this poor Peruvian girl ever studying in the United States for college? Another teacher might have thought she was doing me a favor to scale my dream to a more manageable size. But I was blessed with a very gifted teacher who knew that the dreams of children are the most powerful dreams in the world. She respected the fact that the promises children make in the deepest recesses of their hearts are the promises which propel nations, which explain untold acts of courage and risk-taking. I would wager that every adult who has dedicated her or his life to fight injustice first witnessed or experienced the rage against injustice as a child. We never leave ourselves. We add to ourselves. As a child, my heart in my hand, I stood before my teacher asking for help and advice. How easily she might have squashed my hope. She told me that yes, it was possible to go and study in the United States, but I had to do 3 things. First, I would need to study English to become more fluent in it. Second, I would need to get good grades so that I would be eligible to earn a scholarship. And third, I would need to persuade my parents to allow me to leave home to study overseas. I not only had a dream at age 8, but I had a plan thanks to that teacher. My dream had wings with real feathers. My teacher gave me a map for my flight. Now, can you guess which one of those was the most difficult to accomplish? Yes, convincing my parents. But I had 8 years to speak to them, and by the time I was ready to apply, they were ready to let me go. I was very fortunate to receive a 4-year scholarship from the College of St. Benedict. And as a foreign student, I received particular support and encouragement from Sister Mary Anthony. She was my advisor. From Elaine Hinkey, my physical education teacher, and from Josefina Caballero, who was the woman whom I had met in Peru earlier, who I felt understood the cultural adjustments I was making. The St. Benedict's I matriculated into was in the verge of undergoing changes, swept by external societal forces. My freshman year, I could not leave campus after 7:30 p.m. unless I went to the library. Then I could stay till 9. But by my senior year, I was living in a group setting near campus, the farm, with a priest advisor, Father Patrick McDarby, and other students from St. John's and St. Benedict's. My children, Sasha, age 12, and Tamara, age 7, are particularly grateful about this aspect of my college career, for it was at the farm where I met and married my husband of 21 years, Peter Plattis. It was one of the promises I made. We never leave ourselves, we add to ourselves. When I married in 1969, without much reflection, I took my husband's name. I shaved wearing that name. It just did not fit. So I reclaimed the name of my girlhood and adolescence as a young woman. I would add to myself, but I remained myself. I became a teacher, first in Minnesota, then Peru, then Boston. I did not start out with a mastermind for a career. I grew with the job, and as I was promoted, I grew with each new position. Then I began to grow faster than the position. And it was at that juncture that I realized what it means to navigate one's own future professionally. I became captain of my own vessel, hit shoals on occasion, but more often than not, rode full sails in rivers, in lakes, in the harbor. I became eager to try my clipper at sea. Let them become sea captains, wrote Margaret Fuller in the 19th century, advocating for women's rights. I wanted to become a sea captain. Truth is, I already considered myself a sea captain. I started running into harbor masters who had old ideas about what women can do and cannot do. A sea captain needs backing. When a dolphin gives birth, other female dolphins close in to support her during labor, literally to keep her afloat so her air passage will remain unobstructed. When the laboring dolphin needs oxygen the most, it is the females in her community who lift her up. They do not talk about offering help. They do not circle round or make great arcs in the air for attention or sport. They know where they are needed and go. They heave to and swim under. I have always thought the phrase self-made man a hollow one, because no one, man or woman, arrives at a moment of sunshine or a life of accomplishment unassisted. In my own career, I have often felt myself the dolphin giving birth to change. I have been keenly aware of those, primarily women, who have offered me support to keep my air whole, my lifeline open to another world. When I worked in District A in the Boston public schools, we had a remarkable team, all women who were unified in their commitment and determination to effect changes in schools for the benefit of children and teachers. Our group of 10 included Hispanics, African Americans, and Anglos, those with years of educational experience and those relatively new to the field. Our personalities were as different as any group of 10 women can be. But after we had been working together for about, I would say, 5 months, we held a one-day retreat at a local university. Some people, knowing that we were to dine at the faculty club, got all dressed up. Others, like myself, took advantage of the day away from the office to dress casually, and I wore a brightly colored running suit. Mid-morning, I received this emergency call from the superintendent of schools, who asked me to come immediately for a meeting at headquarters. In fact, he said, I have already sent a cab to pick you up. Well, you can just imagine, I was distressed. How could I wear sweatpants and sneakers to this very important emergency meeting? Within moments, someone had suggested that the group dress me. One woman offered me her suit, another her shoes and stockings, a third woman lent me her blouse. Now, these are personal items, and yet, they were being peeled off there in our seminar room and swapped with my shoes, socks, and running suit. The shoes were a little too big. The suit wasn't something I ordinarily would have worn, but it didn't matter. In a matter of moments, I was transformed. My colleagues had lifted me up to keep my air hole open. In a very real sense, they all accompanied me to that meeting. I carry their presence with me. In 1986, when I was principal of a middle school in Boston, and I was the first Hispanic female and one of the first female middle school principals in Boston, we had an opening for an assistant principal. We interviewed many people and selected the best person. The person was a woman. However, 1 week before school started, the superintendent told me I couldn't hire the person that I wanted because the school department could not allow an all-female administrative team. Never mind that most middle schools had all-male administrators. So I refused to hire anyone and left the position vacant. I also filed a complaint with the Human Rights Commission, and 3 years later, they ruled in my favor. This case spotlighted the need to promote women at the secondary level, whether as department heads, assistant principals, or principals. In the years since I filed my case in 1986, significant progress has been made in Boston on this score. Litigation was a tool which opened the doors for other women. The New Yorker recently noted, remarkable leaders are becoming almost commonplace nowadays, and highlighted Gorbachev and Lech Walesa, as if to make sure that familiarity didn't completely dull our sense of the specialness of such people. Václav Havel and Nelson Mandela have stepped forward almost simultaneously. Havel and Mandela are manifestly whole men who do not need power to complete them. Both are involved in a private destiny to which public success or failure is secondary. In addressing the United States Congress last February, Havel said, "The salvation of this human world lies nowhere else than in the human heart, in the human power to reflect, in human meekness, and in human responsibility. We are still incapable of understanding that the only true backbone of all our actions, if they are to be moral, is responsibility. Responsibility to something higher than family, my country, my firm, my success." According to the New Yorker, he added that that was why he had ultimately decided, after resisting for a long time, to accept the burden of political responsibility. No one thought he was lying. As women, for centuries, across continents and cultures, we have been socialized to resist accepting the burden of political responsibility. For centuries, our other responsibilities, survival and traditional motherhood, have left us with few other options. For those of us who have had access to education, and only a tiny portion of females on the globe have that opportunity, even as we speak, the burden of political responsibility weighs heavier. It is a promise I hope you make to yourself before you leave these grounds. I hope you see the world in large terms rather than in small terms. I hope you see how connected we all are, that our differences are a cause for celebration, not a source of threat. I hope in the not too distant future, when we think of world leaders like Havel and Mandela, many women will also automatically spring to mind. Now, in the field of education, which is dominated numerically by women, we have barely begun the journey toward full equality. 3%, only 3% of the superintendents in the United States are women. Of those 3%, most are superintendents in affluent suburban districts where a majority of the school committee members are women. I do not know if there is another female Hispanic superintendent in the country. I know there are precious few female superintendents of urban districts. So I made it. Now what? Well, I have a choice. I can adopt the traditional male values, try to be one of the boys, or I can be myself. I wish the decision were not such a painful one for many women who have succeeded in many careers. I am sure you have met such a woman, the woman who doesn't help other women, the woman who is in a position to influence policy or make decisions, who is silent, or worse, destructive, on questions pertaining to women and children. The first Latin American to win the Nobel Prize in Literature was a Chilean woman, Lucila Goyoy Alcayaga. Because she was an elementary school teacher, she took a pen name, and you know her as Gabriela Mistral. When she heard the news of the Nobel Prize, she responded, "Perhaps because I was the candidate of women and children." As superintendent, my goal is to be worthy of that title, candidate of the women and children. What does that mean on a day-to-day? First, I teach a third grade class every other week. This simple act of teaching 8-year-olds women's work, if there ever was any, sends an important message to all Chelsea teachers. If the superintendent teaches, teaching must matter. If the superintendent teaches young children, again, our farm leagues for public school administrators are primarily high schools and often from the athletic department ranks. Then the education of young children must count. Teaching keeps me very grounded. My students and I exchange journals, and reading and responding to these engaging writers is a source of pleasure and renewal for me. This year, for the first time in the Chelsea Public Schools, we celebrated African American History in February, Women's History Month in March, and Latin American History in April through a Read Aloud program in every classroom. We need to do much more infusion of women's and multicultural contributions into and across the curriculum. But this year, we took the first step in the classroom and in our community-wide celebrations. At the high school, we're making history by restructuring into smaller schools in less than a school year. Other schools have gone this route, but at a more leisurely pace. With a dropout rate of 52%, radical measures were called for immediately. We are eliminating tracking, all basic courses, gender tracking. For example, Chelsea High School this year, for the last time, offered a business course, Charm and Personality. We're also requiring all of our students to take algebra. The new Renaissance School, conceived and named by a group of teachers, will serve approximately 160 students in grades 10, 11, and 12. Next fall, for the first time in many years, there will be a play staged at Chelsea High School when the Renaissance students produce King Lear. The best news I can share with you is that change is possible. We in the Chelsea-Boston University partnership are living in the midst of the change we are creating and unleashing. It is often wrenching, like labor pains. It is often exhausting. It would be so much easier to glide along, pretending to change things on the surface, to go for the glossy photo opportunity and defer until later the hard structural changes and decisions which must be addressed. We start where we are. We start with our dreams and continue with our deeds. That is the right order, the necessary order. It is not the customary men's way, which starts first with action, in some cases any action, then follows with vision. The tradition of women, a tradition I proudly draw upon, is to look first to the stars, to see a problem, a situation, a question whole. Some men might accuse us of seeing a problem too simply, for failing to grasp the nuances. I think this is not the case. I notice that I see different nuances than many men. I have often had the experience of being the only woman, the only Hispanic, at a meeting where decisions are being made which impact on other people's lives. I want to be the candidate of women and children in those situations. I want to be the candidate to fight more for Latinos, African Americans, Asians, and Native Americans to join me at the table so the agenda automatically turns on the concerns of those who are not fully represented and therefore are most vulnerable. As I have grown as a professional, I have become more comfortable reclaiming the symbols of feminism. For example, when I was the only female community superintendent in the Boston public schools, I did adopt the 3 symbols that Chuck spoke about. The conch shell, which represented active listening, the starfish, regeneration and growth, and the kaleidoscope, change and a celebration of our wonderfully rich diversity of races, cultures, and languages. I remember at the press conference announcing my appointment, I had brought those symbols with me. So, I take them out of my bag. And my male colleagues seemed puzzled and confused by what I was doing. I was naming the vision before beginning the deed. In Chelsea, I opened the school year with a speech to all teachers, likening the beginning of the 10-year Chelsea-Boston University partnership to the launching of Voyager 2, which after 12 years last summer finally passed Neptune, naming the vision before beginning the deed. This spring, for the first time in Chelsea, we had a teacher appreciation banquet. I had asked teachers to help me with a surprise project by submitting brief reflections on teaching. We compile all of these into a booklet. One story by a kindergarten teacher was particularly powerful. She wrote about taking a group of students to the zoo her first year of teaching. When they arrived at the penguin house, she asked them, "How many penguins do you see?" To her surprise, the children said, "We don't see any." When she knelt down to their height, she realized they were right. They could only see the water. Her students had taught her to look at the world through their eyes. The booklet of teacher reflections, we called it then Counting Penguins, Field Notes from Teaching, is illustrated with children's drawings of penguins. In keeping with the banquet's theme, every school committee member, Boston University management team member and administrator, wore a Counting Penguins apron and assisted in serving a sit-down dinner to all teachers. Several years ago, I might have felt awkward donning an apron. Now, as superintendent, I feel it is part of my responsibility to model an attitude of service to the public and support to teachers. I have hoped we have stretched the symbolism of service and aprons a little by including men and by bringing this article of this staff into an institutional setting. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep. There will be times when the woods pull you in, when either the intensity or the contentment of your life seduces you into forgetting the idealistic promises you made in your youth. Fight and struggle for a balance. It is a never-ending struggle, I can assure you. But do not abandon yourself to the narrowest of concerns. Dream big and make plans big enough to support your dreams. Dream beyond your personal glory to the whole sea, the planet, the universe. Be a prophet, an artist, a leader, a teacher, a framer of questions, a risk taker, an architect of justice and peace in your smallest action. These daily, ordinary actions are the ones which count because they either build toward a life of character and expanding responsibility, or they slowly and steadily erode the dreams and promises you once made. I thank St. Benedict's for woods, lovely, dark, and deep. I walked into these woods a schoolgirl, at once nervous and daring. I left these woods a young woman, optimistic I could change the world, promising myself at least I would try. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. I dare you to set your shoulders straight as you leave these woods behind and walk proudly and bravely toward the promises you must, the promises you will keep. The dolphins have it right. Gather close and let us lift each other to another world. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. I would now like to invite Nikkie Denne to present the senior statement.
This group is quite a bit larger than the 3rd and 6th grade classes I'm used to teaching every day. I would like to tell you how honored I feel to be giving the student commencement speech today. It's hard to believe that I'm here right now, about to begin my speech, when it seems like yesterday we were out in the lawns at St. Ben's and St. John's, learning and playing the orientation games, which we all loved, and meeting our roommates for the first time. Most of us were rather shy those first few days, but through the years, we have proved otherwise. We are gathered here today, surrounded by our friends and our families, to celebrate a significant accomplishment in all of our lives. Today is a day to rejoice and celebrate all of our successes. Through all of our efforts, commitments, hard work, and determination, we are graduating from a very fine liberal arts college, and we have received a quality education. To think of all the long hours studying for tests and writing papers, all the caffeine we have drank, for me, cases and cases of Mountain Dew, the study breaks, receiving encouragement from our family and friends. We have made it. As I look around, I see a room filled with many talented people. We all have certain gifts that God gave us, and we have all used them one way or another. I have been very involved with the athletic program, specifically volleyball. Our team has been very successful, as has so many teams, activities, and groups at St. Ben's. The volleyball team believed in each other, the coaches and fans, and together we became the best we could be. It would be nice to win every game or step out of college with a high-paying job. But it is more important to be satisfied, enthusiastic, and feel good about yourself and what you are doing. To me, this is what makes a person, group, or team successful. So whether you're a business major, theater, music, science, education, economics, and I know there are more, I hope that wherever your career takes you, you will feel that you are a success in your heart. I would like to share some thoughts as to how St. Ben's has had such an impact on me through the years. I knew there was something very special about this school the day I visited. St. Ben's has so many exceptional qualities, but what I think that makes St. Ben's so special are the people who are a part of the school in some way. It's such a great feeling when you're walking down the sidewalk and a professor greets you by your first name. Think of the many people you know as you are walking to class. You're almost always greeted with smiles. To me, St. John's and St. Ben's are like one large family, and one that cares so much for others. We have met so many new friends and have shared so many thoughts and feelings. We have shared so many good times. The pine stalks, the Watabs, the walks out to the chapel, the teams and groups we have been involved with, just spending time with each other. These memories will always remain a part of us. I know many of you have mixed feelings about graduating like I do, but it is our time to move on, and to face new challenges. It's our time to start a new chapter in our lives. We will never completely leave St. Ben's. The memories we have will always be with us. Our friends we have made will be our friends forever. We are all very special people, and we will always share a common bond. Soon, we will be faced with many new and exciting changes. Some of us will be attending graduate school. Others will be applying and receiving a real job. Just think, we won't have to ask Mom and Dad for that extra $20 anymore. I hope that whatever choice you make, you will feel good about yourself and what you will be a part of. Most of all, I hope you feel that you are a success. I want to wish you all the very best of luck. I would like to give a special thanks to the parents, the professors, the sisters, the coaches, and everyone at St. Ben's and St. John's, and especially all of you, my friends, for sharing such a special part of the past 4 years and helping to make the years unforgettable. I would like to conclude with a verse written by a high school senior. To each their own, and to each their faults, yet together we shall strive for a better future. For today is better than yesterday, not as good as it will be tomorrow. But if we don't work together, all our anxieties and expectations will turn to sadness and sorrow. And if ever there comes a time when we are knocked down, together we will pick ourselves up and we will strive to go on. Together we will go on. We will not quit. We'll learn from our mistakes and advance ourselves bit by bit. And as we reach the top, we will not change, for we are not better than others, and they are not lesser persons to us. We are all equal, and we must all work together through the times, be they bad or good. And together we shall work as one, striving for all that is life's giving, and taking things as they come. Unless they be unfair, we will work to change them. Everyone will share in times of happiness and console each other in times of sorrow, and we shall always remain friends, no matter where life takes us, for this is the key to our success. Congratulations to all of you, the class of 1990, and may you have a wonderful day with your family and friends. Thank you.
Today's program lists 360 candidates for the baccalaureate degree. The College of St. Benedict is happy to recognize these degree candidates. It is understood that the appropriate degrees are those earned by the candidates who successfully complete all requirements for that degree by the end of the scholastic year. Will the candidates please rise? Sister Coleman O'Connell, President of the College of St. Benedict, these students are now presented to you for conferral of the appropriate degrees.
On the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon those candidates whose names appear in the commencement program the appropriate Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science degrees indicated, with all the attendant rights and privileges of which the degrees to be given to them shall be forever the testimony.
Could I ask the audience to please withhold applause until all candidates have received their degrees? Thank you. I would now like to invite the candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree, honor candidates. Terry Corinne Anderson, magna cum laude, elementary education, St. Cloud. Rebecca Jean Asbrenner, magna cum laude, psychology, Detroit Lakes. Maria Therese Bastian, cum laude, elementary education, Fairfax. Kelly Catherine Brang, summa cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, management and German, Maple Grove. Peggy Joan Bride, magna cum laude, English, Wadena. Christine Margaret Budnick, cum laude, elementary education, Ames, Iowa. Rebecca Marie Bunkers, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, history, Fulda. Kristen Ann Catherall, cum laude, psychology and English, Libertyville, Illinois. Jennifer Lynn Currier, magna cum laude, management, Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. Renee Therese Dauk, summa cum laude, elementary education, Madison Lake. Mary Colleen Degnan, summa cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, English, Monroe, Wisconsin. Dana Marie Dold, egregia cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, psychology, Richmond. Susan Marie Efta, magna cum laude, history, Greenbush. Jill Marie Ferendorf, cum laude, elementary education, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Dolores J. Ferguson, cum laude, elementary education, Nassau, Bahamas. Carla Jean Hines, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, German and psychology, St. Paul. Tamarin Sue Hittman, magna cum laude, English, Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Julie Ann Johnson, magna cum laude, elementary education, Randall. Laura Cyrilla Johnson, cum laude, Spanish, Good Thunder. Cheryl Marie Jones, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, history, Coon Rapids. Laura Lee Jostak, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, sociology, Dawson. Sherry Marie Casper, magna cum laude, liberal studies, St. Michael. Elizabeth Ann Klein, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, liberal studies, West St. Paul. Kathleen Ann Klobeck, magna cum laude, French and English, Alexandria. Carla Marie Kohorst, cum laude, psychology, St. Cloud. Mary Patricia Kuklak, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, German, Apple Valley. Karen Louise Kustritz, summa cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, biology, South St. Paul. Helen Marie Langer, cum laude, German, Piers. Catherine Grace Lateral, cum laude, English, Morris. Carla Ray Lauerman, cum laude, social science and sociology, St. Cloud. Monica Mary Lindquist, cum laude, natural science, Stillwater. Lisa Marie Lust, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, mathematics and physics, New Richland. Christine Lee Migalski, cum laude, English, Wausau, Wisconsin. Maria Teresa Mack, magna cum laude, Art and Management, Tapachula, Mexico. Melanie Ann Mazer, magna cum laude, Natural Science, Waterloo, Iowa. Janelle Ann McGraw, summa cum laude, Elementary Education, Apple Valley. Rita Helen Miller, magna cum laude, Chemistry, Des Plaines, Illinois. Barbara Ann Pagnuco, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, Management in Spanish, Wayzata. Carolyn Rose Polacek, magna cum laude, Music, New Brighton. Christy Lynn Rocky, cum laude, English, St. Joseph. Amy Jane Sandkamp, cum laude, Theater, Invergrove Heights. Tonya Lee Schulte, magna cum laude, Management, Invergrove Heights. Patricia Lynn Sedavi, magna cum laude, Management, Rochester. Vicky Ann Simon, cum laude, English, Northfield. Monica Ann Smith, cum laude, Art, Escanaba, Michigan. Monica Jean Spahala, cum laude, Social Science, Stacy. Gina Marie Steele, magna cum laude, Mathematics, North Henderson, Illinois. Kimberly Ann St. Marie, magna cum laude, Psychology, Stillwater. Karen Marie Swenson, summa cum laude, English, Moorhead. Rachel Alena Tolson, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, Chemistry, North Branch. Angela Marie Untied, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, Music, Plymouth. Alice Marie Wernemont, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, English, Woodbury. Sandra Lee Zerker, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, Biology, Shoreview. I would now like to invite the candidates for the Bachelor of Science with honors. Kristen Elsa Anderson, summa cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, Dietetics, Tremont. Laura K. Fields, summa cum laude, Nursing, Cold Spring. Anne Rose Gnabi, summa cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, Nursing, Rose Creek. Mary K. Lahr, magna cum laude, Nursing, Cold Spring. Deborah Page Lawson, cum laude, Nursing, Wadena. Mary Ann Locken, magna cum laude, Nursing, Melrose. Betty P. Meyer, magna cum laude, Nursing, Raymond. Lori Bernadette Rademacher, cum laude, Nursing, St. Cloud, Minnesota. Shelley Ann Stasowitz, magna cum laude, Nursing, Sauk Rapids. Carol Jean Bulthaupt, Style, magna cum laude, Nursing, St. Cloud. Sandra K. Thurman, magna cum laude, Nursing, St. Cloud. Cecilia Ann White, magna cum laude, Delta Epsilon Sigma, Dietetics, West Des Moines, Iowa. The degree candidates for the Bachelor of Arts. Katrina Gail Akavan, Natural Science, Alexandria. Pamela Marie Albers, Interior Design, Hutchinson. Judy A. Antill, Management, St. Cloud. Julia Antonson, Elementary Education, Coon Rapids. Kristen Berg Axel, Management, Hibbing. Michelle Elaine Bowerly, Mathematics and Computer Science, Sauk Rapids. Andrea Susan Bowler, Spanish, Aurora, Illinois. Robin Jean Becker, Psychology, Watkins. Tina Marie Beckler, Philosophy, Fargo, North Dakota. Ida Brigine Byrne, Theater, Richmond, Virginia. Elizabeth Ann Benson, Psychology, White Bear Lake. Lori Ann Berg, Management, Wheeling, Illinois. John Mary Bestie, Elementary Education, Freeport. Sarah Margaret Bentendorf, Management, St. Cloud. Marie Catherine Billig, Psychology, St. Cloud. Christine Michelle Blake, English, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Jean Dolores Blonigan, Liberal Studies, Freeport. Amy Ann Bram, Liberal Studies, Northbrook, Illinois. Renee Marie Brown, Music, Wyoming. Christine Ann Brigues, Elementary Education, South St. Paul. Catherine Ann Brown, Psychology, St. Cloud. Christina Marie Brown, Elementary Education, Maple Lake. Ruby Linda Mackey Brown, Elementary Education, Nassau, Bahamas. Brenda K. Beege, Psychology, Caledonia. Kimberly Joe Berg, Management, Prior Lake. Veronica Camarillo, Art, Chicago, Illinois. Leah Sean Campbell, Art and Humanities, Cold Spring. Tracy Ann Campbell, Social Work, Austin. Catherine Marie Cantleberry, History, Motley. Sandra Sheila Carlson, Mathematics, Computer Science, Eden Prairie. Carrie Lee Carr, Spanish, Detroit Lakes. Judith A. Shimoleski, Management, St. Cloud. Daleen Clark, Mathematics, Forest Lake. Christine Lorraine Kohler, Government, Shakopee. Mary Ellen Condon, Elementary Education, Chicago. Mary Carmichael, French, White Bear Lake. Kelly Margaret Conley, Liberal Studies, St. Paul. Carla Jean Consimius, Liberal Studies, Breckenridge. Margaret Ann Cook, German, Golden Valley. Christine Ann Cunningham, Social Work, Ortonville. Jamie Rochelle Courier, History, Hopkins. Renee Elizabeth Duplaise, French, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Laura Marie Decker, Elementary Education, Maquoketa, Iowa. Nicole Chantal Denis, Elementary Education, Rice. Maristella Christine Dinzio, Psychology, St. Paul. Lisa Lorraine Doucette, Accounting, Carlos. Brenda Marie Dressel, Mathematics, Waconia. Sue-Ann Marie Drews, Management, Browerville. Melanie Renee Driscoll, Social Work, Stillwater. Susan Renee Duff, Psychology, Apple Valley. Maria Diane Eaton, Art, Bloomington. Deborah K. Ebner, Management, Wadena. Heather Ann Edginton, Social Work, White Bear Lake. Teresa Helen Iden, Psychology, Coon Rapids. Laura Catherine Isold, Elementary Education, Madelia. Michelle Ann Evans, Accounting and Management, Richmond. Kathleen Ann Fallon, History, St. Paul. Candace Mary Fite Dingman, Management, Hastings. Yvonne Louise Ferguson, Music, Nassau, Bahamas. Sylvine Melita Ferguson Bethel, Elementary Education, Nassau, Bahamas. Catherine Ann Finnegan, English, Bozeman, Montana. Valerie Joy Fletcher, Government and English, Apple Valley. Amy Josephine Fleechek, Management, Montgomery. Erin K. Fogarty, Government and History, Burnsville. Sheila Elizabeth Foley, Liberal Studies, Watertown, South Dakota. Christina Jo Fox, Sociology, Watertown, South Dakota. Joan Suzanne Fredrickson, Accounting, Blaine. Lisa Marie Frayling, Sociology and Psychology, Brooklyn Park. Kaylin Frichty, Management, Caledonia. Laura Louise Gagnon, Theology, Lakewood, Colorado. Jennifer Ray Gavin, Management, Bloomington. Stephanie Ann Giacchino, Elementary Education, South Sioux City, Nebraska. Lorraine Therese Giese, Chemistry, Coon Rapids. Barbara Kelly Gleason, English, Prescott, Wisconsin. Heidi Ann Glotfelty, Liberal Studies, Keene, Alaska. Penny Lee Gotker, Psychology, Waite Park. Christine May Goulet, Theater, Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Annalie Grady, Biology, Alexandria. Shannon Michelle Gray, Mathematics, Matamidi, Minnesota. Janet Mary Hans, English, Northfield. Catherine Delvina Hansen, Liberal Studies, Helena, Montana. Ellen Marie Hartman, Elementary Education, Hastings. Tanya Lean Husbargen, Liberal Studies, Osseo. Catherine Joan Heimer, Social Work, Roseville. Michaela Patricia Heising, Government, Fargo, North Dakota. Amy Sue Hemisat, Psychology, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Teresa Ann Henneman, English, River Falls, Wisconsin. Sarah Jean Hergott, Social Work, Minneapolis. Margaret Mary Herring, Liberal Studies, Bloomington. Sheila Marie Hertaus, Sociology, New Prague. Kathleen Margaret Higgins, Theater, Early, Iowa. Michelle Denise Hill, Psychology, Marysville, Washington. Anne Marie Hinnenkamp, Chemistry, Melrose. Margaret Elena Hoffman, Psychology, Dallas, Texas. Kimberly Allison Holden, Liberal Studies, Le Center. Holly Elizabeth Holdgraf, English, Leawood, Kansas. Laura Marjorie Honkamp, Elementary Education, Starbuck. Carla Ruth Houle, Biology, Monsview. Karen Ann Humboldt, Management, Plymouth. Sarah Ann Hunt, Psychology, Moorhead. Cynthia Michelle Inzaro, Psychology, Omaha, Nebraska. Michelle Marie Ives, German, Grand Rapids. Susan Marie Jarrus, Mathematics, Computer Science, Brooklyn Park. Renee Marie Jaspers, Management, Edina. Cosette McKinney Johnson, Elementary Education, Nassau, Bahamas. Anne Marie Judge, History, Houston, Texas. Hazel Leonora Jupp, Management, Nassau, Bahamas. Jacqueline Christine Kalina, Psychology, Northfield. Lisa Marie Kaltoff, History, Albany. Sherry K. King, Elementary Education, Pelican Rapids. Angela Kirscher, English, St. Croix Beach. Gina Marie Kirschner, Management, Minnetonka. Julie Ann Klinghammer, Elementary Education and German, Northfield. Lisa Ann Kopetsky, Music, Waldorf. What can I say? They're incorrigible. Susan Jane Kramer, Liberal Studies, Lucan. Janine Lynn Krantz, English, Anoka. Elizabeth Susan Croth, Liberal Studies, Edina. Brenda Kwitstosek, Elementary Education, Avon. Jacqueline K. Keekley, Elementary Education, Watkins. Catherine Marie Cooker, Interior Design, Edina. Cassandra Marie Kurtzman, Management, Brainerd. Michelle Marie LaFrance, Psychology, Elysian. Rosemary Lambert, English, Fridley. Michaela Emily Lang, German and Biology, Richmond. Gail Frances Lonan, English, Prior Lake. Julie Marie Laudiger, Psychology, Virginia. Michelle Beth Levine, English, Buffalo. Linda Sue Latinen, Elementary Education, Soldotna, Alaska. Michelle Ann Leifeld, Accounting and Management, Cannon Falls. Cynthia Marie Lester, History, Park Rapids. Carol Diane Lewandowski, Social Work, Prestonburg, Kentucky. Jill Noel Liesner, Mathematics, Le Sueur. Michelle Ann Lindberg, German, New Prague. Beth Marie Loftus, Elementary Education, Dayton. Carrie Marie Ludwig, Psychology, Bismarck, North Dakota. Ann Catherine Lietmer, Management, New Hope. Sarah Celine Manship, Government, St. Paul. Anne Elizabeth Masterjohn, Psychology, Fergus Falls. Julie Catherine Mayers, Chemistry, St. Paul. Kathleen Ann McDevitt, Management, Shakopee. Elaine Maureen McDonald, Government, Graysville. Stephanie Joy McDowell, English, Cameron, Missouri. Mary Agnes McCargill, English, Sydney, Iowa. Mary Catherine McGinn, Music, Council Bluff, Iowa. Elizabeth Jean McGovern, English, Lake Elmo. Laura Marie McGowan, Elementary Education, Sioux City, Iowa. Carrie Ann McQuiston, Sociology, Maryfield. Brenda Joy Meeks, Liberal Studies, St. Cloud. Susan Catherine Megger, Sociology, Hopkins. Angela Marie Merrick, Liberal Studies, White Bear Lake. Melanie Ann Meskey, Psychology, Le Sueur. Molly Catherine Metcalf, English, Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. Christy Ann Metros, Liberal Studies, Denver, Colorado. Anne Marie Miller, Psychology, Cold Spring. Gloria Jarrett Miller, Elementary Education, Nassau, Bahamas. Elizabeth Jane Mingo, History, St. Paul. Margaret Louise Motel, Management, New Hope. Deborah Ann Moreland, Social Science, Little Canada. Tamara Ann Moriarty, Liberal Studies, Shakopee. Jacqueline Ann Muscada, Elementary Education, St. Cloud. Lisa D. Murphy, Theology, Hector. Margaret Mary Murphy, Management, Madelia. Connie Marie Myers, Elementary Education, Minneapolis. Nadine Jerice Nabiti, Social Science, Grand Island, Nebraska. Marva Clark Nairn, Elementary Education, Nassau, Bahamas. Pamela Joy Niehoff, English, Wadena. Georgia Lynn Norgren, Biology, Eden Prairie. Naomi Ruth Nyquist, Liberal Studies, Howard Lake. Cheryl Ivana Nistrom, Government, Fridley. Deborah Ann Needus, Management, New Prague. Amy Michelle O'Connell, History, Waverly. Karen Marie Undenthal, English, Le Center. Marla Ann Ogard, History, Crookston. Mary Angela Oley, Liberal Studies, Rochester. Elizabeth Ann Olson, Natural Science, St. Louis Park. Julie Ann Olson, Government, Grand Rapids. Nicole Therese Ostrowski, Management, Port Angeles, Washington. Carolyn Otto, Accounting, Rochester. Susan Michelle Paulson, Liberal Studies, Oakdale. Rhonda Stephanie Pendergast, English, Clear Lake. Virginia Pendleton, French, Wayzata. Kara Jane Peterson, Management, Hamel. Lori Randall Pazan, Elementary Education, LeSueur. Anita Carol Pletcher, English, Hastings. Diane Pagansky Govern, Theater, St. Cloud. If I may, I am to announce that Diane also gave birth to a child 2 days ago. Alice Mary Price, Liberal Studies and Management, Lamberton. Tanya Ann Quast, Management and Psychology, Buffalo. Anne Margaret Quinn, Liberal Studies, Stillwater. Ruth Ann Rademacher, Liberal Studies and Music, Harrisburg, South Dakota. Sarah Kathleen Radachik, Social Work, South Haven. Radachek, excuse me. Jennifer Mary Reimer, Social Science, Minnetonka. Anne Marie Reinbold, English, Moorbridge, South Dakota. Lynn Marie Rice, English, Detroit Lakes. Mary Therese Rickenberger, Elementary Education, Plymouth. Margaret Ann Rockford, Biology, Crystal Lake, Illinois. Amy Sue Raring, Liberal Studies, Sartell. Jessica Mary Romaniak, Elementary Education, St. Paul, Minnesota. Brenda Joan Rosenhammer, Accounting, Sleepy Eye. Kimberly K. Rutten, Social Work, St. Cloud. Rebecca Sue Seifert, Elementary Education, Burnsville. Catherine Danielle Sager, Liberal Studies, Berlin, Germany. Jennifer Jean Sand, Elementary Education, Dayton. Karen Joy Sawyer, Liberal Studies, White Bear Lake. Karen Louise Schillow, Psychology, Deer River. Maria Lynn Shulgin, Elementary Education, North St. Paul. Karen Lynn Schinka, Liberal Studies, Burnsville. Elizabeth Ann Sherber, History, Timberlake, South Dakota. Dana Sue Schrantz, Liberal Studies, Pine Island. Jennifer Eileen Schreiner, Liberal Studies, Cold Spring. Colleen Rita Schultz, Economics, St. Cloud. Angela Marie Cyberlick, Liberal Studies, Maplewood. Colleen Ann Sexton, English, Minnetonka. Deidreanne Ulysses Seymour, Elementary Education, Nassau, Bahamas. Jennifer Rose Sharkey, English, New Prague. Angela Jo Sherlin, Management, Canby. Jean Maurice Kluzacek, Mathematics, Northfield. Arnett Pinder Smith, Elementary Education, Nassau, Bahamas. Deidre Smith, Psychology, St. Cloud. Kathleen Mary Smith, French, St. Paul. Molly Lynn Smith, Elementary Education, St. Paul. Tanya Lynn Spandy, Economics, Lakeville. Mary Jolene Specht, Liberal Studies, Aurora. Carolyn Joy Stein, Elementary Education, Sauk Rapids. Laurie Ann Mary Stitch, Liberal Studies, Avon. Sarah Elizabeth Stitch, Psychology, Minneapolis. Michelle Renee Stoffel, Liberal Studies, Hastings. Andrea Marie Stevie, Management, Brooklyn Park. Noelle Ray Stewart, Interior Design and Management, Eden Prairie. Cheryl Ann Sullivan, Elementary Education, Burnsville. Barbara E. Sweeting, Management, Nassau, Bahamas. Corinne Marie Swenson, Accounting, Shakopee. Yvonne Marie Tower, Art, Minneapolis. Doreen Michelle Thielen, Liberal Studies, Farmington. Kimberly Ann Thielen, Elementary Education, Albany. Elise Marie Thomas, Elementary Education, Lake Zurich, Illinois. Vicki Lynn Thompson, Social Work, Plymouth. Brenda Joan Thermos, Mathematics, Farmington. Lori Ann Topari, Liberal Studies, Burnsville. Barbara Jean Tupi, Elementary Education, New Prague. Leticia E. Valerio, Management, St. Pedro Sul, Honduras. Monica Sue Vermeersch, Social Science, Rochester. Patricia Ann Villalta, Accounting, International Falls. Laura Marie Vernick, Liberal Studies, Coon Rapids. Sherry Marie Voigt, History, Richmond. Tracy Ann Vopatek, English, Brainerd. Patricia M. Wagner, Government, Royalton. Margot Ann Walleen, Management, Wilmer. Teresa Jane Walsh, Elementary Education, Princeton. Margaret Rose Welsh, Natural Science, St. Louis Park. Catherine K. Wells, Interior Design, Rice. Andrea Ann Werner, Liberal Studies, Burnsville. Christine Mary West, Elementary Education, International Falls. Heidi Susan Westendorp, Theology, Plymouth. Diane Marie Wire, Accounting, St. Joseph. Deborah Jean Williams, Elementary Education, Waseca. Norma Willis, Management, Lauderhill, Florida. Carrie Lynn Werkela, Management, Minnetonka. Lucia Joan Worth, Theater, Deerwood. Julia Mary Wirtz, Management, Spring Hill. Candidates for the Bachelor of Science. Tamara Joan Alvin, Nursing, Winnebago. Nicole Claudine Bladine, Dietetics, Bewabek. Mary Jo Marie Blair, Dietetics, Fridley. Christine Marie Boddick, Nursing, Freeport. Jennifer Mary Brill, Nursing, Colby, Wisconsin. Christy Maria Bierman, Dietetics, Richmond. Jean Marie Cashman, Dietetics, St. Joseph. Kathleen Mary Chua, Nursing, St. Paul. Roxanne Gail Covert, Nursing, Raymond. Mary K. Fate, Nursing, Roseville. Terry Ray Guion, Dietetics, New Berlin, Wisconsin. Trudy Ellen Glimsdahl, Nursing, Appleton. Tamara Marie Granahan, Nursing, Stewartville. Elizabeth Jane Hackett, Nursing, Morristown. Colleen Marie Kennedy, Nursing, Iowa City, Iowa. Rayanne Dolores Kipley, Nursing, Piers. Kimberly Ann Clune, Dietetics, Embarrass. Jean Marie Kirchmarger, Nursing, North Riverside, Illinois. Denise Ann Labor, Dietetics, Wyoming. Jody Catherine Larson, Nursing, New Ulm. Janet K. Leach, Dietetics, St. Cloud. Carrie Marie Leitner, Nursing, Branson, Missouri. Stacy Eileen Lovin, Nursing, St. Cloud. Mary Suzanne Mock, Nursing, Pine City. Sean Marie Munch, Nursing, Eden Valley. Stacy Corinne Onan, Nursing, Big Lake. Barbara Dole Pelzer, Nursing, Sauk Rapids. Rose Marie Raleigh, Nursing, Elmwood, Wisconsin. Rochelle Ann Randolph, Nutrition, Grand Island, Nebraska. Tanya Lee Rude, Nursing, Verndale. Cynthia Leonore Running, Nursing, Appleton. Sandy Marie Schiller, nursing, Crystal. Andrea Denise Schmidt, nursing, Burnsville. Mary Susan Schultz, nursing, St. Cloud. Paula Maureen Swanson, nursing, St. Cloud. Teresa Julia Van Arsal, nursing, Faribault.
Nicole Marie Suman Smith.
My apologies. I apologize, but you'll get a special naming. Nicole Marie Suman Smith, nursing.
I want to be the first to congratulate you as a group. 4 years ago, when you were new as students, I was a new, if not young, president. And I remember the day that I asked you to, the women of the class of 1990, to rise, and you all looked startled. And here that day has come, and so I do want to be the first to congratulate you. I also want to assist you in thanking not only the faculty and staff of St. John's and St. Benedict's who have joined you and your parents, but also some members of the Board of Trustees of the College of St. Benedict, with Herman Rattel, who is the chair of our board, sitting in the front. Herman. And next to him is Sister Mary Reuter, the prioress of the convent of St. Benedict, the group of Benedictine women who sponsor this college. And so we want to thank particularly the sisters, the Board of Trustees, the faculty and staff of the two colleges. Join me.
Associate Vice President of Development, to welcome the alumni.
On behalf of the Alumni Association of the College of St. Benedict, I congratulate you, the graduates of the class of 1990, and I welcome you as alumni. I'd like to ask you to think back 4 years, maybe 2 or 3, when you began your St. Ben's experience. You left your home to come to St. Ben's, and with you came your clothes, your new typewriter and dictionary, your checkbook, your makeup, your posters, your stuffed animals, your high school yearbook, your stereo, your pictures of family and friends, and 3 12-packs of Diet Coke or Mountain Dew. You moved it all in, load by load, and then you started to nest, to create a home for yourself. You hung up your clothes in the closet, you arranged your pens and paper and stationery in your desk drawer, you made up your bed with crisp new sheets, set your graduation gift popcorn popper on the shelf. You hung your posters on the wall with tacks or nails, but no tape. You were surrounding yourself with the familiar things in your life and arranging your new possessions. A statement about the transitional journey you were beginning. The journey from dependence to autonomy. All of that was tentative at first. You had created a tentative home. As the first days passed, with floor meetings, first classes, buying books, settling in with your roommate, meeting your brother Floor, each person's journey was different. Some of you were homesick, and wondered why you had ever left Richmond, Virginia, or Edina, or Freeport. Some of you rejoiced in your new independence, with only occasional pangs of missing the familiar. At home, your family's journeys were also different. Some keenly felt the empty nest you left behind. Others sensed that it was time for this experience, and perhaps their pain was less intense. Sisters and brothers had thought you would never leave. Some of them claimed pieces of your furniture, and others moved into your bedroom. Now, they were afraid you might never come back. As the nest became more familiar and as your life became more filled with friends and experiences, a subtle but strong shift occurred in the use of the word home. You had left home to come to St. Ben's. You would leave St. Ben's to go home. And at some point, you started to leave your homes to come home to St. Ben's. I imagine many parents today can remember the pang of hearing you say for the first time, as you departed for St. Joe, "I'm going home now." And where home was has shifted many times over those 4 years. From Northfield to Aurora 3, from Biwabik to Ricarda, from Nassau, Bahamas to Solar Apartments, from Golden Valley to a cottage in Ireland or a hotel in Greece. Or perhaps simply from your house in St. Cloud or Sauk Rapids to the HAB or Clemens Library. There has been a shift in the use of the word home. There has been a shift in the place of home. Change, and yet no change at all. Great Falls, Montana, or St. Paul, or Northbrook, Illinois, or Maple Grove will always be home, just as St. Ben's will. Home has family. Look around you and see your sisters. Home has conflict and comfort. Remember the squabbles with roommates and the supportive hugs of friends. Home has rules. No parking without the proper permit. Home has traditions. Remember the first square dance, the father-daughter dance, last time's mass, and tonight, the last waltz. Home is the familiar, and St. Ben's is now familiar. As I welcome you to the Alumni Association, I'm asking you to join over 11,000 women who have come before you. Let me tell you about some of them. You will join the 5 laywomen who enrolled in the first college class at St. Ben's in 1913. One of them is Anne Werkelsdorfer Torkelson, who lives in St. Paul and comes back every year for the reunion. You will join the Benedictine faculty members who have taught here through the years. Some of them are familiar to you only because you have lived, studied, and played in buildings with their names. Sister Rogatia Solar, Sister Claire Lynch, Mother Henrietta Ossendorf, Sister Dominica Borgerding, Sister Ramberta Westkemper. You will join the women who played basketball around the pillars of the gymnasium that was in the basement of the old library. You will join the women who met their dates from St. John's for 1 hour, and then only in the parlor under the watchful eye of the portress. You will join the women of the 60s who marched in peace protests and the women who were in the first international study program in Luxembourg in 1970. You will join the women who lived and attended classes all in one building, the main building. Their dorm room was a large room with 25 spaces called cells. Each cell had a bed, a curtain that could be drawn around it for privacy, a stand beside the bed with a couple of drawers, and a chair. You will join the women who lived in trailers in the early 70s because enrollment expanded too quickly for us to build dormitories, and the women who first competed on an intercollegiate athletic team from St. Ben's, and the women who first represented us in our new conference, the MIAC. You will join the women who rode the first Benny buses in 1935 on shopping trips. Required dress for shopping included heels, hats, and gloves. You will join bank presidents, school teachers, attorneys, nurses, lay ministers, business owners, homemakers, college professors, scientists, doctors, veterinarians, social workers, politicians, authors, and school superintendents. You will join women who live in St. Joseph, in Minnesota, the Midwest, in 47 of the 50 states, the Bahamas, Europe, and Asia. You will join these women who are your sisters and who have all lived in this home of yours. You will bring your own memories of your life here, and you will add your own data to the alumni files. But together, you have all helped create the history of St. Ben's. As I welcome you to that alumni family so rich with history, I also invite you to revisit this place where the history was formed. I invite you to come home to St. Ben's, to see friends, to continue learning, to see if the fish are in the fish pond yet, to renew commitments, to measure change, to seek God. I invite you, the women of 1990, to come home whenever you can.
We pray a blessing. We ask your blessing, Holy One of God. In our vision, give us zeal. In our weakness, accept us. In our discouragement and fatigue, grant us laughter and support. And in the beauty that is ours, grant that we might stand in your truth. As with Benedict we pray, let us prefer nothing whatever to Christ, and may Christ bring us all together to everlasting life. Amen.